All right, dear friends, it is 12:30 Eastern Time sharp. We are starting a little earlier. We're going to do something later this evening. But this is going to be the chance for you to react and opine regarding the events last night, what could have been a a tragedy, which thankfully it was not, at the White House Correspondents Dinner in D.C. Little prefatory note here. First, what you're going to be hearing is fire hose news. Fire hose. You're going to see more information coming at you left, like a blast. It'll be hard to contain. This is almost like an inverted funnel where we take all this information and then try to stovepipe it up as best as possible. That's number one. Number two, you're going to meet all kinds of wonderful people. First, the people who know a lot about this, very, very rigorously educated as to the facts. Others who know nothing, who will just look at this and just be offended. Some people will just be offended. They'll say, "This woman is a widow, and you're making fun." First of all, nobody's making fun of anybody. This is what happened. The thumbnail. This is what happened. This is what she looked at. This is what she said. I want to go home. She said this. I'm not making this up. She stole the spotlight, if that's possible. People went, I don't know how this woman does this. And if that's problematic for you, I don't know what to tell you. I do know that when our president was almost unlived via bullet in Butler, people thought it was fake. It was strange that he cut his ear on purpose, that there was no, it was all contrived. Again, these are the people, the false flag crowd. There are people who believe that everything is a false flag, and also that everything is a bunch of crisis actors. Nobody's real. Nothing was real. It was all crisis. You get that group too as well. But nobody cared about saying terrible things about the president. Nobody. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. He goes, that doesn't matter. You know, Trump. I say, okay, well, I remember that. So if I say something that hurts your feelings, get over it, because believe it or not, nobody cares about Erika Kirk. I don't mean her any harm, but nobody cares about her. She has become a story on her own, just like Kash Patel has. We're going to be dissecting what happened last night in so many different respects. In no particular order. First, does anyone here believe the story, believe he is a lone wolf? Or woof, as people say. People can't say wolf. They say woof. Like spear for sphere. Do you believe this was a lone wolf? Now, let me tell you how you should react. People will say, it was staged, it was ridiculous, it was contrived. How do you know? How do you know? You're entitled to that opinion. I don't know anything yet. How would I know it's staged? How would I know it is staged? When somebody says lone wolf, that's what we're going to call it. The idea, it's almost historically, and forgive me for being incredulous, it's almost been the line that is used by someone to explain Lee Harvey Oswald, everybody else. The first thing they do is they say it is a lone wolf. They just say this. That means to me somebody else is involved. In order to be a lone wolf, you literally actually have to be alone and be lupine in your demeanor. You must be a wolf. For all of you lycanthropic folks out there who are prone to lycanthropy, that would be a werewolf, which is a different story. In any event, the idea that you are alone, that you wake up one day and say, I'm going to go in there. You can have handlers and not know it. There are bevies, passels, groups, acting central. There are performative kabuki dancers ready to be used for anything you want, whether it's intel, whether it's deep state or ruling class or, secret governments or other shadow governments, who knows? But I promise you, if you say, listen, there's an event coming up, and I need somebody to come forward, and I want, what do you want? I want a radical black from some neo. Oh, I can do that for you. Remember the Lackawanna Six? Remember when the FBI had these black folks upstate New York, and they were at a Holiday Inn Express? One guy even said, I want artillery. I'm looking for white supremacist January 6th, because January 6th, the percentage of it that was actually real, we'll never know. That was so hyped, so contrived, so pushed. The feds were in the, you saw these, what was that fellow's name who just, I think Tucker mentioned, we never found out, or was there Epps or whoever it was, just never heard about him again. Never heard about him again. Because that's what we do. We never hear from these people again. Would you like somebody who do you want an agent provocateur? For example, if somebody said, I think last night it would have been better if we'd have a white nationalist, and he attacked this because he didn't want to hurt Trump. He wanted to hurt, let's say the theory would be the correspondents themselves, the media, the leftist media, the communist media, whatever. I can get somebody wearing fatigues, and I could say, take your order. What do you want? You want fatigues? You want a lone wolf? I can get that for you. That's that angle. Which is like somebody like Paddock, who this multimillionaire who goes in this, who is in Las Vegas, who brings all this ammunition, all this stuff, and fires upon this country music. Was it Aldine and others are performing? Would you like that? Would you like a butler PA kind of dude who's immediately dispatched? What about the guy who leaves the firearm on the fence at Mar-a-Lago? How would you like maybe a Lee Harvey Oswald? Would you like something more traditional? What would you like? What do you want? I'll get it for you. I've got them all here. We've got them all here. I've got crazy people that we recruit constantly. They're like in a factory. They're like, you got a SAG-AFTRA card. This is what they do. You can pick up the union hall and say, I need a such and such, and they'll be there. And we use the term loosely, sometimes for shorthand purposes, though it's not technically correct. We use the term MK Ultra. By the way, MK does not mean mind control. MK is a CIA prefix, a code, which meant something like MKDZLO. Each one means something different. But MK Ultra, this was absolutely positively, this was using things like drugs, but also menticide, brainwashing. But there are people who are ready to go. There are areas, there are handlers who handle these groups. It's like they're, when you're in Hollywood and you're doing a period piece and you say, I need a bunch of old cars. You call this guy up and he's got old cars that'll work from whatever period you want. So the idea of a lone wolf, why we announce the names of these people, I will never know. There's no need to do that. There is no need. Last night I was on WABC doing my weekend show from 2 to 5 a.m. And the first thing I was doing was, which I think it upsets a lot of people because many people, friends of mine, are in the traditional news business. And I said, you're a bunch of hacks. You're a bunch of hacks and you don't know it, especially TV. Let me say something. The really good journalists, and they are out there, is in printed word. People who write articles, people who say, I don't care about my picture. I don't care about my face. I don't care if I'm out there. I want to be, I respect them a little bit more because they want the word out. And they still believe in people reading. What you saw last night were all of the wannabes. Caitlin Clark, to whom, by the way, Trump was a gentleman. He treated them like gold. The woman who was a White House Correspondents, the chairman, I don't know, or chairperson, I don't know. I don't. It's an Asian name. He couldn't have been nicer. Let me tell you the inside skinny, and I'm not going to go into details. I'm not going to go into specifics. If you met Trump and you didn't know who he was, and you were, I don't know why, you're at a waiting room, or you're at a Jiffy Lube service bay, or you just met him and you don't know who he is, and he's not flying around, you would find just a decent guy. You would like him. He is you would just very simple. Sometimes, and I say this with all due respect, almost awkward. You know who was like that? Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh was so shy. Again, I don't want to say too much, but some member of his family are aces, the greatest. You would love them. Absolutely great. Not what you think. Trump puts on a behavior sometimes. He's like, he's petulant, sometimes immature, but sometimes, by virtue of a genius, he can say something and people say, I like that. He's very boorish sometimes. He's very inappropriate. He has no filter. But if the object of that particular tirade is somebody you don't like, you're fine. You'll love it. It's a different story with him. So he was just being himself. He showed he wasn't crying. No, now back to Erika. Nobody was crying. Not Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy's like this. Up. Dana White, not to be confused with Paula White, Dana White was said, hey man, this is effing awesome. He's walking around. Judge Janine, hello, this is Janine Pirro. You know, she's fine. Even under the tables, people had their phones. I'm under the table. Just John Fetterman was like this. Can we go? You want to go now? John Fetterman and his date, or not his date, whoever it was, she's putting a makeup like this. Nothing. Cheryl Hines, she's by herself. All right, I'm with you. This way, she's walking up, holding her gun. Excuse me, pardon me. She's walking over tables or whatever it is. No problem. She's not crying. Melania, this was disgusting. She had to slink down. Secret Service should have been over her. Melania should have been bruised today from some hulking figure throwing himself on her. Same with the president. Did you see how fast they took J.D. Vance out? Like that. What was that about? And the president, they eventually got to him. And he stumbled. They got him off. He's not crying. Melania's not crying. Cheryl Hines isn't crying. Nobody's crying. Did you see him taking the bottles? Did you see him taking the bottles? What is this, champagne? I'll take this. Do we get the centerpiece? Everybody's talking. They're walking out. Who was the one who lost her shit? Erika. Absolutely. I want to go home. Not only as a little petulant child, but as a baby. As a little baby. And you're going to hear this nonsense. Well, her husband she wasn't there. Last night, I hope you saw Christine Feckerty last night, who was just incredible. Christine says, and I will defer to her, that Erika says she never saw the tape, or that I don't know. Erika Kirk is a performance queen. If you don't know that, if I've got to fill you in on that, if you have any doubt, her whole life is a kabuki dance. It's performance based. If I've got to tell you that, there's no hope for you. If you don't know, she is in the same ilk with Meghan Markle, Kardashian, even they're together. She's a little girl out of her league who was pulled along by mommy, who was created out of nothing, out of whole cloth. And she can't even perform right. Stop it. She does the eye. She is the worst. Why she's there, I have no idea. TPUSA is going to collapse under its own weight because they have this moronic insistence upon having this child who is the center of attention for the wrong reason. She sucks the attention away. Everybody else is walking out. She's got to be escorted out. Take me home. I want to go home. I'm a baby. It's disgusting. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. You didn't mind when they were making fun of President Trump. I'll never forget that. Oh, they shattered he wasn't really hit. Oh, that's all staged. Oh, that was nonsense. Okay. When John Kennedy died, they went after Jackie Kennedy. What about you? Why'd you do this? Why are you? How come you married Aristotle Onassis? Nobody told him that. Nobody told him that. Look who it is, my friend. It's Big Dick McCarthy. He says, learn the easy way, hard way, or not at all. And then another little baby child is born. Dick, you may be cryptic and furtive, but I like it. Thank you. Yoko Ono, Coretta Scott King, Courtney Love, you're a widow. You're a widow. And if you think you're given some Kevlar, which is a strange, bulletproof analogies don't make sense. But if you think that somehow you're available for this, you're out of your mind. The point has to be made, and this is critical. We are adults. This is a rough and tumble world. When people act up, when they are performative, when they give you kabuki-like dances, when your whole life, Erika, has been one contrived theater piece after another, when everything you did and have done has been a calculated move by your mother, Laurie Fandler, everything, the different scenarios, it's like you're an undercover cop, like Reservoir Dogs. You're learning your piece, you're learning your background, you're learning your role. From hip, cool, young, pretty, sexy, reality show contestant to beauty pageant, not contestant, but somebody who was enlisted, an enlistee. That storyline with this contrived horseshit about how you were asked to do this, when in fact the record shows, again, another lie about how you've been an active participant. You lie. You not because necessarily you're a bad person, but you lie because you don't know the truth anymore. You don't know. It doesn't matter to you. Your stories aren't consistent. You forgive, theoretically, Tyler Robinson, and then you push for a speedy trial. By the way, Wolves and Finance or whatever has a very, very unique theory that says she might be ineligible as a claimant, as a party. She may not have standing to bring a motion, if you will, for speedy trial, because you cannot theoretically be involved in the perpetration of the case, which is a pretty interesting take if you think about that. I mean, the analysis is just brutal. Your thoughts are always fantastic. I love this. I don't give a damn. I am really bad at this. I am terrible. If I don't see this, I don't see the word spread out. I think there's something wrong with me. It says CIA reading room, cross-reference, Rutgers and MK Ultra. Lance Twiggs only wears Rutgers sweats, posted on here on X. Stanford, same story. Amy, US, AG, Nasser timeline, and her mental coaching around Franzver, I think. Excellent. By the way, I love your coded messaging. Fantastic. Here comes trouble. This is, by the way, Texas Beach Girl. Whenever you see this, you know there's going to be trouble. She says, in my opinion, Erika Kirk was there because Trump was planning to talk crap about CO. That's why they were hyping about taking shots in the speech. Oh, nay, nay, dear, dear friend, dear lady. No, no, no. He is so delusional. He loves Charlie, would not take shots at him. No, no. He was going to take shots at the people there, the actual fake news media. That's what he was. Oh, he would have no. But I love your originality. And now, my friends, Take a Pic says Erika is like a Geiger counter and a camera is uranium. The closer she gets, the more she reacts, more closer, more tick, tick, tick. An excellent piece. I love that. I love that way of thinking. Here is the thing which is too important to understand. People people have not followed this. They don't know who Erika Kirk is. They don't know who she is. They've not been around long enough to recognize even the participants. And that's something which you have to always remember when you talk at the level we do. These folks don't know. I don't give a damn says it's Dom like Dominique, and most people say Dominic. Oh, okay. And there's something wrong with me too. I'm a fan, so thank you for your brain and making my day. Well, thank you as well. I'm very, dare I say, parsimonious when I will not tell you something is or is not a ruse or something is or is not an inside job. I make it very, very clear. We'll say this kind of looks like it. I'm a doctor with a diagnosis. I'm a doctor by analogy, where you come to me and you're saying, I'm worried about something. Do I have cancer? And I say, well, let me tell you something. Before we go there, let me make sure you a couple of things. Number one, we don't have enough information. I think we should look at this. I can't tell you yet. If it is, I will let you know for sure. I've got no problem with this. I don't jump to the conclusion. Maybe it's the lawyer in me. Maybe I'm a lawyer because of that. But I will give you all of things where I'm saying something's weird, something is strange, something is rotten in Denmark, as the saying goes. I think you've heard it, my friends. It was in all the papers. But your thoughts are just incredible. See, we always work in concert. This is important. Our good friend Stephen Salty says, bless always Lionel and the great work Lynn does. Thank you as well for this. Thank you very, very much. I mean that. Davis Kenneth says, breaking news, Erika has forgotten Cole Allen. See, I don't even want to say his name, but thank you. Our good friend Brasileira Mia, Carla says, products of reality TV, long on performance and short on coherence and truth. Yes, yet utterly convinced that notoriety equals credibility. Fake tears and manufactured outrage. BS. Absolutely. Boise Let Guy says, convenient excuse to get rid of Erika Kirk. They know she's finished. They know we enjoy laughing at it. They give us what we want. Maximum emotional compromise. It's all theater. Absolutely. Texas Beach Girl, here she comes. Candace Owens, not Charlie. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say what? Did I say that? Did I say? Oh, dear God. Let me go back to what you said. Oh, you said CEO. I'm so sorry. You know what? I think we've discovered some kind of dyslexia on my part, which I'm proud to have. Colleen says, Erika had one line she screwed up. She was supposed to say, there's no place like home. And click her NEM. Remember that? No, Trump needed to do something. He ain't going to get near Candace Owens. What he did, remember one thing too, I want you to listen to me. I am never, ever going to be, I'm not a Trump sycophant. If he does something stupid, I'm going to tell you. Absolutely. To put this picture of Candace to, if this, I don't know where it came from, if it's enhanced, to show with this kind of the bandana field, I'm going to say something to you. It made me think of this is like Aunt Jemima. This has all of the trappings of close, I think she's a very beautiful woman, very elegant. And to show this big, is he crazy? Seriously, it's like, could you possibly have picked something? It's just, what was the purpose of that? You don't have to. Why are you mentioning somebody who's not important? Penny Mills, thank you so much, Penny. This blows my mind. I don't understand how this man thinks sometimes. But there's a couple other things which is also critical. And remember something. Here is an adage which Grandpa will tell you. When something is a fan favorite, don't question it. Do it. Do it. Do you remember years ago? Maybe you don't. But in my generation, we had all of a sudden Chinese food came out of nowhere. We used to go to this one place when I was growing up in Florida. It was a Chinese called the Pagoda. We used to drive because we had Chungking. Chinese food was like, this was nothing. We this is before takeout, because when we were kids in the 60s and 70s, we ate at home. You didn't go out. Maybe pizza, maybe. Now Chinese, Thai, Lao, Vietnamese. But it caught on. And rather than say, wait a minute, is this Chinese good? Catch on. When paninis came, when gluten-free, when cronuts, when whatever it is. So for some reason, all of a sudden, Candace Owens pops up. She gets this. Christine Feckerty last night, who was tremendous. I think if you listen to her, there are some fundamental things we may not agree with. And by the way, when I say may not agree with, it doesn't mean we don't like each other. It's like, for example, I may disagree. You may not love mushrooms. I love them. We can talk about this all day long. We disagree. It's not an impediment in the least. It's a difference. It's not. I mean, there's different styles of music. There's different styles of flavor. You may like red wine. I may like white. You may like sparkling. I mean, it doesn't mean it's a difference. But we have come together, and in a very strange way, Erika Kirk brought us together, and specifically Candace did. And people don't understand this. I love people, and maybe you've done this as well. You've heard people that don't really get it. Texas Beach Girl says, yes, Trump is unhinged. I wouldn't put it past him. Well, he sometimes will say some things that I don't know. What I don't understand is something that is really important, and I think also very critical. And maybe you've thought about this as well. And I will tell you this much. There was I'll tell you this story. When I first came to New York, I grew up thinking that everything was the best in New York. The best radio stations, the best restaurants, the best clothing stores, the best fashion, the best everything, because it was the largest city in the world. It was a center of commerce and okay, couldn't be further from the truth. By the way, unsolicited word here. Farther and further. Never make the mistake. Farther is over something that's a distance that you can actually measure. I ran farther. I walked farther. We flew farther. If it's a distance, it's farther. If it's anything else, if it's an increase in a like I loved you further. I went further in my job career. I went further. If it's something that deals with a kind of a concept, it's further. Farther is only for something you can measure. Distance and that's right. Anyway, but I thought for sure that when you are dealing with a kind of $1 billion corporation like TPUSA, I thought that you would have the best folks watching, the best folks monitoring this, the best stagecraft, the best PR machines, the best. Somebody said, no, we can't do this. We're missing the point. I mentioned the other night, I hope you saw, but you should, with Christine, that the best thing Erika could have done is come out and never talked about herself and said, I have spoken to the great young people who make our organization so great. We have paid for grief counseling. We have a team of mental health officials who are on call. We are giving a on-time PTO or paid time or whatever it is. Our concern is for young people who might feel very sad and very affected by the loss of Charlie. You may not remember this also, but I do. When Mr. Rogers passed, as they say, years ago, they had this special story of how do you deal with this? How do you deal with a Mr. Rogers who passed? And I think people need to do the same thing, or should have done it with Charlie. It really affected a lot of people. Keza Hugo, these names. You make me laugh like the comedy show we live in. Yes. And you know what's interesting about this, Keza? And thank you all, by the way. The reason why it's interesting, we laugh at something because it's absurd. We laugh at something that's absurd. The other day, there was a little kid, and we're talking. I said, "How old are you?" And he looked at me. I said, "What are you, about 12?" No, it's 5. And she looked at me. She goes, 12? No, I'm 5. No, you're 12. I am not 12. Now, in this child's world, she didn't know what was going on. I said, who is this guy? Who's this old guy? What was he talking about? I said, I think you're 12. I'm not 12. So immediately I started crossing my eye and she started laughing. Now, why is she laughing? Because it's absurd. It wasn't funny. Even a kid knows this is absurd. When you saw these people, did you see? It's not funny, but the people stealing the bottles. When you saw this, the great Secret Service, by the way, these people, get rid of them all. They suck. You would not have been able to get near this. This guy runs past. Did you see this guy run? And the Secret Service agent ran out of the way. By the way, he drew very, very quickly. You mean to tell me somebody didn't walk in and say, hey, where's the barrier? Somebody could just run through. Run through? You mean they're not going to stop and go through the metal detector? Who were these people? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Sometimes Trump, we laugh. Have you seen my new favorite one is Paula? I was saying Dana White. By the way, Dana White was like, hey, man, this is effing awesome. Guns, I mean. Dana White he's like a 3-year-old, but he was there. It was effing awesome. Okay, Dana. And meanwhile, there's Erika, who has to be shuttled out. Oh, and did you see Cash? Hey, looking for his girlfriend. Where was she? Oh, she took the last train for the coast. The day the music died. He was outside, like waiting for a ride. He's waiting for his Uber. He doesn't even know. Talk about stagecraft. J. Edgar Hoover would have had a phalanx, would have had teams, a coterie. He would have had cadres and consortia of FBI agents with him. They would have been following him. They would have been surrounding him. Command center. Cash, even when he stands with Todd Blanche, he looks like he's in a lineup. He's so wrong. Mr. President, get rid of this clown. What is the matter with you? What are you waiting for? How did you pick this jerk off in the first place? What are you doing? I don't understand it. I don't get it. But also, let's talk about this stupid coverage. Cable news, whatever the direction, sucks. It's the same thing. B-roll. Let's have a Chiron. Jerry, call Jerry in graphics. Jerry, can I have a nice lower third? Can we have a name? They used to have tragedy, incident at the dinner. Dong, dong, dong. They give it a label and they have a logo. And they'll have, remember they had threads and crawls. And that's all they want to do. They say nothing. Well, that's right, Wolf. I'm standing outside the White House Correspondents Dinner. As you know, tonight, shots rang out in the ballroom, and we have this right now. And what was it? It's somebody with a cell phone or the pool photographer or somebody. People with a camera. That's the news today. That's where it happens. People with the camera who just say, you don't need me to explain to you the obvious. Look at this. I don't have to tell you. Shots fired, people running. There really weren't any shots. I mean, the shots that were fired was when this guy shot his makeshift shotgun, whatever that thing is. And now we find out he was a teacher of the month. He's not your usual. He contributed to Act Blue, like $25 or something, earmarking something for Kamala Harris. Well, he was a Democrat. Okay. Well, yeah. Why? And they're going to now go back into his social media. Who was this man named Hugh G. Rection? Where was Rection born? Who is he? Neighbors say, quiet guy, kept to himself, a loner. You always say that. Let's go to his house right now. Here is his house in Torrance, California. A blue scooter in front of the ranch style. Here's a picture of him. Here's from his Facebook. This is his Instagram. Here's college. This is where he worked. This is what he did. This is what he read. When was he radicalized? What happened? Tune in for the face of a killer. I'm not going to say killer. And meanwhile, some jerk off who was basically walking around laboring under anonymity, who is completely just saddled under the yoke of obscurity. He's going to say, wait a minute, I can go out with a bang too. I got to make sure all of my social media are in line. I've got to have 3 names. I've got to do this because they're going to play this thing up. Now, what would have happened had this jerk been, for example, a black, trans, gay, whatever? Nothing. We're withholding the information. Okay. And meanwhile, today, what they're doing is you're finding out nothing. What President Trump should do is he should regroup the whole thing. I mean, pay for the whole thing himself. Trust me, you can do it. Pay for it all. Pick up his donors. Elon, I need some money. Okay, pay for this. Okay, say it's from me. It's from you. I want everybody back. Second, he's got to get rid of these jerk-offs, these Secret Service. I don't know what they're there for. Did you see, by the way, McCarthy, the actress, the Barbie, the kind of a tubby, I think she's still there. Remember the woman who couldn't get her gun out? Melissa McCarthy, she couldn't get her gun out of the pistol. I think she's still there. I don't know. And these people came out with these, did you see these, I guess, lower, they couldn't see it. They're going like this. Like, I can't see with this shit in front of my face. Well, that's supposed to help you. I don't know. I can't see it. And all of a sudden they come out with this thing in it. I'm like, what are you going to do? Shoot into the crowd? And meanwhile, Melania's like this. Okay. All righty. And she just kind of crawled out, but I guess I would have flown. You would have seen somebody jump, very large, jump on top of that, wrestle her down. Your job is the first lady. And J.D. Vance, do you see how fast J.D. Vance? Not Jenny McCarthy, Melissa McCarthy. Or Jenny McCarthy. Kitty Meow says, have a chill morning. Enjoy coffee and laughs from Lionel the Best. Thank you so much. Slinky says, Cash and Troop look like inept Keystone cops. Keystone Cash. Absolutely. This guy is he's just ridiculous. He's a foob. He looks like a tard. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. What are you? Dan Bongino at least looked the part. He was like this. He was like holding court. Everything all right? Everything okay? Coast is clear, Dan. Not Dan. Pete. You got it, Pete? You got it? Everything cool? Okay. It's my National Guard training. Make sure everything. All right. Everything's cool. All right. That's it. You see Muriel Bowser? She was there, the mayor of D.C. She sent it with Jeanine Pirro. Jeanine Pirro was right there. What is she doing there? I'm the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. And goddamn, get out of my way. I'm going to be in front of this camera. This is what I'm going to say. She's good. She's right up there. People weren't missing a beat. They knew exactly where that camera was. And you would think, Erika, how stupid is she? She would say, get to the camera. And what do? You don't have to tell me. You know I know something about this. All she had to do is, I hope everybody's safe. Please make sure your loved ones are here. Make sure, because your safety. Never talk about yourself. She can't do that. Erika, never talk about yourself. Kiss your children, make sure, and God bless the great men and women of this. You know this. You know the speech. She doesn't know that either. She doesn't know. I can do this in my heart, in my sleep, and I'm nothing special. Talk about them as long as the president, because this was an attack on democracy. This was an attack on. And by the way, I would also tell the president, hey, listen, don't laugh at me. He wasn't coming from me. He might have been coming from you. Okay. And he was there early. He was a guest. How did they check this guy in? Remember Paddock from Las Vegas? Remember Paddock? He had more ammo. How this one guy brought all that ammo there, it doesn't make any sense. We're not stupid. How do I tell people this? We're not stupid. We don't believe this. We're I sound like Fredo. I'm smart. You're my kid brother, Mikey. You're my kid brother. Never misunderestimate, as they say, the power of our collective because what you are is a potential juror. You are a potential grand juror. They take people like us to be a juror. They present the facts of the case and say, what do you think? They don't say, well, you don't know anything about this. Years ago, by the way, there was a move to try to get professional jurors, and they shot that down. You know when something stinks. You know when this thing stinks. You know it. And I'll bet you that Erika's team today is so stupid, they're not realizing we have to put out a statement. We have to do something. You are the CEO of TPUSA. Say something. Don't talk about yourself. Talk about the brave men and women. TPUSA is donating, what I would do, X amount of money to, let's say, the Secret Service Endowment Fund or the children, the widows and orphans. There was true story, by the way. Years ago, the NYPD has a widows and orphans fund, and I was very involved with PAL and Police Athletic League and all this stuff. And one day we were in this event, and in this great Irish pub, Kennedy's, was no longer with us. But anyway, on 57th Street, I'm in the back, and all these cops are there. I was invited, and who's there? Steven Seagal, nicest guy, talking to kids. They had the bomb sniffing dogs were there, and they had the cops were there, and they had taken these are the widows and orphans of fallen police officers. The nicest guy in the world. True. Now, this is what Erika should have done, but they don't think like that. Think about what I'm telling you. She should have said, listen, and by the way, leak this damn thing. I know we had scheduled a meeting for merchandise sales, but it's been too close. But I want to make sure I talk to you. Not getting on, hey, guy, none of that stuff. But I want to make sure you're okay. I want everybody who works for us to get a hold of your team leader or whatever you want to call it, whatever your group is. And I want you to do something to let them know if you need help, if you need assistance, if you need something. This is what I would have done. We will give you time off. We have grief counselors. Please, we know how much Charlie meant to you. And they would have loved her. They would have said, she never mentioned herself once, but she can't do it. You don't understand. I know you understand. They don't understand. She can't do it. Remember the expression, be sincere whether you mean it or not? Act like you care. Years ago, famous scene, Hurricane Sally, and it was 1965 or so. New Orleans, in particular, because of the levee, this is before Katrina, but it was LBJ. And Hale Boggs and somebody else said, Mr. President, you have got to go to Louisiana and talk to the people there. You're going to need Louisiana in your upcoming re-election or whatever. And he says, I'm not going to go there. He says, you have to go. Sir, believe me. He said, okay, because he knew politics. He said, do me a favor. So he picks up the phone. He says, fire up Air Force One. I'm going. I'm getting out of here. Let's go. So they all went. Took Marine One, went to Andrews, flew in somehow, and there was this scene. Now imagine this. Imagine the picture of this. It's in the basement of a church, black church maybe, and flooded. They're putting sandbags, and they're just dark. And you see, the flashlight. You see the beam of the flashlight, and all of a sudden, they hear this. This is the president. No, you're president of the United States, and I'm here to help. As long as I'm here, you have my word. We will make sure that New Orleans is built again. And they say, are we hallucinating? It's him. Then he got out, got back at Marine, went back. But the point is, he knew the moment you do it, you know exactly what to do. You own this. Giuliani did this. Giuliani was there before. If there was an accident, he was there first. In fact, there was a biblical verse that said, wherever there are two or more of you, Rudy Giuliani is there. This is the part that requires stagecraft and adulthood, but you don't have. You have children. And you have children making a lot of money that they would have not normally made any other way. You know what I'm saying? Any other way. Slinky says, cash is troop. Oh, I've said it looks like Keystone Cops. That's right. And Stephen Salty says, books will be written on the downfall of TPUSA. Yes, it will be. It will probably be taught at business schools, and you just don't understand how things work. Let me tell you about image. This is also critical. Image is the most. See, take for example Candace's image. Okay, I'm not saying this just because we're being nice or whatever. I'm telling you because this is the truth. Candace has an image that is so strong. You should see the messages I get and the comments. They view her as being intrepid, as being brave, as being sincere, as being loving, as being authentic and real, and that sort of thing. They love her. Some people, they don't like her because she's, put it this way. Nobody doesn't like Candace Owens because she's mean or they don't like her or she's stupid. No. They don't like her because she's right. Excuse me. She's powerful. She's a threat. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. People love her. And whether you like it or not, if she ran for office, oh, dear God. She's like the next Trump. She is so polarizing because she's so powerful. You can't be that powerful and have both sides like you. You know that? Duchess of Camelot, salutations, Mr. Lionel, and the same to you, dear lady. So Candace comes along and she does this thing. She has this way of doing it. You're gonna be speaking about that. Some people have it, some people don't. This one does not have it. And again, I'm belaboring the point perhaps, and I apologize, but it's so obvious to me. The other day I was talking, you got to understand something. When I'm on WABC, which is wonderful because this is the premiere, and it's great. This is like it's just weird to hear the name because this was when I was with New York and I worked with, Rush and Ed Koch and Bob Grant. And it was the glory days, absolutely the glory days. Like talk radio was never bigger ever, before internet, before all this. Anyway, but I talk to people and you would not believe what you're hearing. It's not their audience, but it's the group. It's the people who listen to cable news and they think that it makes sense. These are the people, by the way, on Fox who even told Sean Hannity, who I think was trying to do a solid by saying even the Seth Rich stuff, they said, don't talk about it. TPSA writes the book, If We Did It. Yes. That's very good. The O.J. Simpson reference, or as I like to call it, if I did it again. And I said, Tyler Robinson is not guilty. He's a patsy. My friend, they look at me like I'm from outer space. He's a what? He's a patsy. No, he did it. No. He confessed. No. Well, they found their rifle. No. Could I be that wrong? Yes. You don't know. Hide the kids. You don't know shit. You don't know anything. You know nothing. I live in a world, by the way, where I'm saying, you keep talking about the Strait of Hormuz. Have you ever thought of looking at where's my globe? Oh, here we go. Here we go. I said, this is it. Got this at the Dollar Tree. Do you know where the Strait of Hormuz is? Do you understand do you understand where this right here? It's this little tiny place right here. Have you looked at it? No. Do you know why it's important when the tankers come down and then they have to make a sharp left and then they got to go down and they need help right around here? And it's not a wide berth. It's a very small channel. Do you understand that? Do you understand where this is from? Duchess understands. The narrative of Charlie's murder was set in the first 24 hours. That's the story most Americans received and they believe. Yes, and also they don't like to have the narrative changed. And I thank you. And I have people say, just as an example, you want to talk about this and Israel and Jews and Zionism? Okay, fine. Good. Would you, from a tactical point of view, do you understand? Like the Battle of the Bulge, they knew about the Ardennes Forest. They knew about where the Ho Chi Minh Trail was. We knew about geography. The real one, listen to this. Friend of mine, you know who were the badasses? There's two people in the world that are they're very serious. One is Turkey under Erdogan. Their army is badass. You never hear about that. Number two, the Houthis. Oh, these people are serious. Absolutely. Norm Macdonald nonstop roasting of OJ was legendary. Thank you, Stephen Salty. And it cost him his career with SNL, which is no big deal, which made his career because of Don Ohlmeyer. Thank you for that. The Houthis they are true believers. They are so scary. They are serious. And they have a little place called the Bab el-Mandeb. This little tiny Strait of Hormuz is like this. This is like this. And it's that artery. It's like the Widowmaker. It's the artery that goes from the Red Sea, connects to the Suez Canal. Geez, it's, probably more important. And all they have to do is, they don't have to do anything. They can just pick up a phone, call somebody and say, we have mines out there. We have mines. And Lloyd's of London is going to say, we're not going to insure you. They don't even have to use a mine. They can just say this. But they go, oh, they're crazy. They're not crazy. These people are not crazy. Iranians are not crazy. Israelis are not crazy. Nobody's crazy. You get into this evil and crazy, you don't understand. They're strategic. You may not agree with them. You may not. But there's a lot of people who are cheering for both sides, and they're not crazy. Look, what makes us different here at The Nation is that we call it The Nation. We are not children. We understand the reality of what's going on. We don't use words. We know how this thing works. We go in saying, tell us what the conspiracy theory is. We're not going to get upset. We live for it. We've accepted it. These idiots walking around, they don't know how to handle it. They think everything is spontaneous. January 6th was a shit show by design. On, I don't know what the hell this is. It says, I keep thinking Erika Kirk's PR team can't stand her. Yes, what you just recapped as proper behavior or reaction after this event would show leadership and strength. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Barron's show about setting the media narrative in the first 24 hours was a masterclass. Baron Coleman, by the way, is a genius. Baron Coleman is an absolute contribution to society. Let me tell you what I used to do. I got to tell you this much. I knew this. When I was 22, I guess 22, I just graduated. Might not even have been 22. Anyway, I worked for a U.S. senator, and we used to go into these. He would travel, and I would travel. His name was Richard Stone, Dick Stone. Richard, parentheses, Dick Stone. He's the only senator of his Dick in parentheses. And I'm this kid, 22 years old. And we would go to like Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, the courthouse. And I would do this. This before cell phones. I would walk through. He's talking to people. And somebody would say, may I ask you something? Yes. I said, what is your name? But I emailed this, or not email, it was no email. I mailed this senator something about such and such. Terrific. I said, what is your name? I said, are you here at this number? What is your work number? I said, very good. Okay, terrific. And I wrote these names down. And I would go to this office and I would call up the office in DC. And I said, write these down. Roberta Kazanza, 813, call them. She sent a letter. She did this. And before we left, they get a call from the senator's office in Washington. We haven't even left yet. And he looks at me, I said, oh, okay. He goes, Senator, thank you. And he said, thank you. And a couple of times he goes, that was you, right? I said, yep. I felt like Radar, from MASH. It was simple. They loved him. And I don't know whether they ever followed through, but the point is, she tells me 5 minutes later, they got a call. I used to forge his signature. We used to go all these places. He goes, Senator, thank you for the picture. You're welcome, he says. And he said, did you sign this? I said, yeah, that's pretty good. I said, oh, I can do your signature. All the very best. Oh, I can still do it. Anyway, it's stagecraft. Look who it is. Doctora Latina says, a single mom of two, no dad. My entire focus until they were 18 was to take care of them and to work hard as I could in my job to provide for them. I always worried about their safety in mind. Never dated, never went to a party. My kids were number one. And you a woman who was unable to do that. Absolutely. This is the thing. Does she know their names? Do you know? I would make sure my kid is in therapy to make sure. Do you have any questions? Kids don't tell you. Kids don't tell you. They just, I would be there the whole time. Where is she? She's always gone. Hanging around Colvette and this and that. Where are Charlie's parents? Where's Charlie buried? Where? Look at this. You know, it's funny. I did hear this thing about Fox News. There was a story about Caroline Levitt's husband, or said they seem to have lost maybe the fee. And by the way, Doctora, thank you so much. I don't know if that's true. They were underground. They were losing fee. I don't know. Could be. It could be. It could be. I'm not ruling anything out. Anything. Anything. Not at all. One time we had said this, and many of us have said this, and other people have said it. It's for the long. It's an old. It's kind of a story, but it's true. We imagine one day Trump comes out of the White House and he has ninjas around him, like ninja, you know, the black veil with the outfit and the not the Arab, the abaya, but you know, the throwing stars and those funny shoes, and he walks out. There's all these ninjas looking around like this, you know, the way they. And he says, "You probably wondered about who these people are. Yes, they're ninjas. I fired the Secret Service, and I have." From now on, I have my ninjas. Caesar, maybe not a good idea, had the Praetorian Guard, their own special. Hitler, please, I'm making no connections here. The SA, the SS, rather, I should say, were his personal bodyguards. They were his, and they looked the part. You see, I mentioned this last night on WABC, and some people say, what? Two instances happened. One, remember just tell me, do you remember when Obama one time, Obama got the message. Obama was real smart. Obama knew where he was from. He was plucked, what he was supposed to do, what his job was. He never asked. They said, do you want to do this? Absolutely. Can you do this? Oh, you know I can. And he did it. And he was this very good politician, and they pulled him out of nowhere, recruited him out of nowhere. Kind of like J.D. Vance, that fraud. Anyway, in whatever the hell it was, this guy named Omar Gonzalez, I can get the note. He scaled the wall. He actually breached the White House twice, once with a knife and once with whatever. Anyway, they got him. Breached the wall, entered. I think it was the East Room or whatever. And the message was, and by the way, you have, remember the scene from The Godfather where Luca Brasi, they bring his pants back and there's a fish in it? And Clemenza says, as old Sicilian phrase, Luca Brasi, he sleeps with the fishes. What they told Obama was, you know what that means, don't you? Right. That's Secret Service telling you, we can control you. We can turn off the security. Okay. There was another one too where Bush was, by the way, Bush is old school. He's skull and bones. His father was CIA. He knows it probably better. His grandfather was Prescott Bush. He knows finance, bankrolled Hitler, Brown Brothers Harriman. Come on. Anyway, he was doing something one time. He was riding his bike, or I don't know. They shut down DC. Didn't even tell him. To tell him, we control you. That's why we got to get rid of these people. Whom did our founding fathers distrust more than anybody? Two people. Number one, standing army. They hated that. A navy they could do. They had problems with the pirates, Barbary Coast. Navy was okay. Standing army, oh no. They said, what, are you kidding me? We're going to create the people who are going to, what? Standing army is the one who is going to turn on us. No way. That's why Tench Cox, listen to what I'm saying, TENCH COXE. When my wife and I go to Philadelphia, I always, if we can, I make it by his grave and pay tribute to him. He's like one of the greatest of our founding fathers. He was called him the Pennsylvanian, and he wrote about the best, most lyrically languid and limpid writer on the Second Amendment and the militia. Tench, like trench without the R, Tench Cox, C-O-X-E. And he spoke about the idea of we need the militia. Forget the government. Forget you don't want to give them anything. When Truman signed the National Security Act, he says, I'm doomed. I'm creating a secret. Now, have you ever seen, do me a favor, the next time you see Putin, look at his security detail. Look at that. One time we were at an event. It was a UN. He was at the UN, and Lavrov was here. And I think it was the, I want to say, I don't know what people say. I want to say, well, say it. I think it was a Waldorf. Anyway, Lavrov was there, and he had Sergei Lavrov, which is their Marco Rubio. And he's just so smooth. You should have seen that team. They didn't have to have any buttons or anything. It's like, holy, these big, scary Russian dudes, and they could be Ukrainian, whatever. They had this look of, oh my God. They wanted you to know it. And not that, remember when that, what's that actor's name? Latham, whatever. He's the British guy. Remember when in Hollywood, all of the top security guys were ex-IDF. They were tall, kind of big, bald head. They had the glasses. IDF. They looked scary. Okay? That's what you want. We don't have that. We don't have that. I want ex-military. I got to be careful. I want ex-military. I want them to think like military, not cops. Military. People who can correct the perimeter. People who are killers, who scare you immediately, scare you. We had this in New York City. The cops used to be, oh my God, like you cannot believe. The cops were just, they just looked the part. Then we got into this DEI. You got a bunch of people walking around and they look, it just, oh my God. Albany now has a bonnet. Somebody named LaFonda with teeth. And you got some other dude who's walking around with a gut and tattoos and they can't run. I don't know what happened. I don't know where this came from. They're deliberately trying to get rid of the forces that work. Duchess says, wasn't Dan Bongina one of Obama's Secret Service? I could be, yeah, or maybe, yeah. Now, Mary Alvarez says White House Correspondents Dinner was staged. Give me one information that it was staged. What do you mean by staged? I'll go with that. What does it mean staged? What do you mean staged? Are you saying that this shooter was designed to do it? Was he orchestrated? Who told him to do it? Was he ordered to? Was he paid for this? Why do you say that? Why do you say that? What do you mean stage? People used to always say, and I'm asking the question, people used to always say 9/11 was an inside job. What do you mean inside job? What do you mean inside? Who? And they never could finish. Well, I mean, you mean what? Bush, Cheney? Who? I feel like I go an owl here. Who? And they never, stage can be a lot of different things. I don't understand. Tell me and they really couldn't. Remember something. Here's how it's done. If you come to me, sometimes I'm going to say, what do I need? Mr. President, Mr. So-and-so, whom do I work for? Let's say it's a WEF. Let's say it's a shadow government. Let's say it's the money. And oh, by the way, how do you think old Chuck's going to be doing? Prince Chuck and Camilla Bow Wow. Whoa, they've got their own. Remember, they've got, their guard's a little bit better. But here is the thing. Let me explain this to you. This is how it works. I'm the guy, okay? They know me as I don't announce myself. I'm not on any payroll. People always want plausible deniability. I want it. I'm not, you're never going to let anybody, you're never going to let Erika know anything. You're never going to let any of the, how do I say this? You're never going to let, what am I trying to say? You're never going to let TPUSA or any of those little pussies know what's going on. These guys are wimps. They would break under pressure. They don't know anything. You keep them out of the loop. But if you want something done, you would come to somebody like me, an intermediary. And Bearbait says, look at this. Bearbait says, just found out why I love you. We grew up together, free state of Florida. I served on Ward 57 at Walter Reed. I have seen guilt. She lost it because the guilt finally hit her when the shot rang out. You know, it's a fascinating theory, and good friend, I thank you for your kindness. I do not at any way leave that out of the equation. Not at all. Ryan says, this is the third attempt, so if it was staged, whoever that might be shouldn't quit their day job. This is not a, well, first of all, okay, let me back up a little bit. This was not intended to do any type of harm to the president. This was a blunderbuss. It was a crude storming. Why do you know that? Okay. One of the things you got to ask yourself is this. If you looked at this right now, he comes in. Let's say you could talk to this fellow. Say, what are you going to do? Tell me your plan. Okay, I've got my weapons. All right. What do you have? What type of weapons do you have? Well, they keep talking about this thing as a quote shotgun. I don't know. News are very, very bad when it comes to doing a lot of things. They'll say things like, they'll use words like automatic weapons when in fact they're not automatic, and they get the wrong term. Anyway, but I'm going to say, okay, so you're going to come in here. Now imagine we have this. You're going to come in here. You're going to break through, and somehow you're going to get past Secret Service. You're going to go up and then take a right, or left, whatever it is, and you're going to break into the room, right? You're going to come in from the back. You're going to come in somehow, or your goal is going to be what? To go after whom exactly? With that rifle or that he's got a knife? Okay. I don't know what that's going to do, but do you have any proficiency with this? Do you understand positioning? What do you plan to attend? Now, Butler was good. That was sniper. Very good. Sniper. This guy on the roof. They're very bad with on the roof. Tyler, this guy. That was the way to do it. That was serious. This wasn't serious. Okay, Gene, just tell me how you do it. You're going to walk in, you're going to go in the back, or what do you want to do? Who's your target? Trump. Okay. With that, are you proficient at this? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know anything? It's hard to hit anything. Plus you're running. And you know what? No. This was just, I want to make a scene. I want to make a scene. I want to do something. I want to make a scene. Okay. So you call me and I say, oh, you want to make a scene? Okay, I'll take care of it. That's it. I don't know you. You don't know me. What do I work for? I don't work. I work for a think tank. I work for doesn't matter, agriculture company. I don't have it's a cover job. I then talk to my people. Okay, what do we got? What are you looking at? Hotel, New York, Washington. Serious? No. Military? No. You want to get somebody with military? No. He has no. He went to Caltech. No. He's a mechanical engineer, a teacher. No. I deliberately don't. I want to get somebody just to make noise. I'm not interested. Now, if you wanted somebody, we'll get you somebody good. We'll go to the B to the A team. No. Okay. Give me enough neurological problems as a cover. They got to be a little crazy. You don't want the head of ear, nose, and throat, the president or the head of hand surgery for the hospital of special surgery. No, you don't want the pillar of the community. You want somebody who's a little crazy, a little wacky, a little lefty, not too crazy. Okay. But I want to make some noise because they realize whoever planned this, if this is a guy, nothing would have ever happened. The plan didn't make any sense. What are you going to do? You're going to take anybody out. This guy's lucky just absolutely lucky he wasn't just, in fact, he shouldn't even be here, because how this guy got past this, I have no idea. And I would immediately say this. I would say, now here's what we're going to do. Let me see him. Let me see him. Okay. And I'm going to say, okay, Mr. So-and-so, it doesn't matter who I am. Remember Sicario? Remember the fellow who, remember with the water and all? No, you don't want to do that. Do a couple of things here. Number one, who did this to you? Who did this to you? Who was responsible? You're not going to talk? Okay. You know what I would do? You're going to laugh at me. You ready for this? You're going to laugh at me. You buy this little rubber thing where they can't bite down. And I'm going to say, this is X sauce. This isn't Carolina Reaper. This has a Scoville unit that nobody's even, by the way, this is military. You don't even have this. I'm going to put you through some pain. It's just hot sauce. You ever tried this? No. Doesn't sound like, doesn't leave a mark. Doesn't bother you. Nothing in your system. After a few hours, you're fine. But I'm going to show you what we're talking about here. Now I'm going to ask you a question. What happened? Who's responsible? Okay, do it. You got this thing. Put a couple of drops, normally right there in the tongue, and just wait. And it starts. And it's just cumulative. And that's one thing. They used to do things. There are ways to coerce people. Anybody who tells you that kind of stuff doesn't induce the truth is out of their mind. Thank you, Taryn Ellis. Thank you. I mean it. I mean it. Don't cripple anybody. Nothing with x-rays, things like that. No. I'm going to find out who did it. But the best part is, we know who did it. I did it. I got him. We got him from Central Casting. We got him. We know who this person is because he's the wrong person. This isn't any. Now, if you get somebody who says, "What was he?" Well, whenever you hear somebody says, "Well, this was somebody who was he was at Fort Benning. He's in some forward rifle company." It's like, oh my God, some SEAL Team 6 dude, somebody who washed up. That's dangerous. So this was never intended to do anything other than it was the wrong. But the thing is, what motivated him? What was it who said, "I'm going to give everything up"? And let me ask you something. True. First question: is he crazy? No. Crazy is to hear voices. Is he crazy? No. No. You know who are crazy? Heroes. People who go in and they say, I'm gonna go into that burning building and save somebody. That's great. That's crazy. This is a guy who has no idea of what common sense is. But we laud that. We like that. But he's crazy. That's what we're talking about. There are people out there who would give their life to do this because they're crazy, but not really. They're all over the place. You have no idea how many of these people there are. Nothing special. And you're going to find something somewhere. Let me ask you. I will tell you, anybody here today, all you great and wonderful people of whom I love, if I look through any of your social media, your friends, you will look like a lunatic, okay? You understand this? This is the most important. I can say something you've written. And this is my favorite. Just take what you've said. People, you think it's an inside job, or I remember there are people in our world who say these things. Somebody suggested that Candace Owens is a gatekeeper. Okay. We always have that. You will look like a nut if I go through some of your stuff. Let me tell you what this person read. I've said stuff which completely, absolutely, totally, to me, makes complete and total sense. I've talked about the shadow government. I've talked about a nefarious conspiratorial cabal. By the way, Donovan Beaton says, it is common for oppressor. Oh, is it common for oppressor 30 minutes after a breach? No, but this president's not common. He's smart, though. You know what it did? It showed his calm, that was brilliant, because he needs to change his image with a lot of other people, because he's pissed off so many with this Candace business, and some of the stuff he said is ridiculous. But anyway, what's happening right now is I have a world view, and I know I'm right, that if I say this to a layperson, I sound like a nut. I sound like a nut, an absolute nut. I have said and shown people before, using Richard Gage is a good friend of mine, Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. I was at Cooper Union one time. I was a speaker, and there was a fellow who showed you computer models, simulation of Building 7, and it was not carpet fire and that sort of thing. It was obvious to anybody watching, anybody. If I said that to somebody, they think that in and of itself is so crazy, because they think something like this could not happen without somebody finding out and saying, you don't understand how things work, do you? And again, they think he's crazy, and he keeps talking about it. But I know what I'm saying. I may be crazy, but you're stupid. Duchess says, Lionel, do you think Trump has dementia just like Biden? No, absolutely not. Two things what he has. Number one, he's pushing 80. When you're 80, you're always going to do a little bit of something is going to happen. Something slows you down. Not necessarily mentally, because sometimes you're much, much better. Oliver Wendell Holmes, and listen, Alan Dershowitz, you can say whatever you want about him, whether you like him, he's great. He's going to be 86 years old or more. This guy's sharper than ever. I mean, his ideas maybe, you may not disagree with him, but number two, I think he has some reflux problems, probably in his legs. That's why he has the swollen ankles. Men and ladies, if you have swollen ankles, do one of two things. Number one, make sure if you're taking blood pressure medication, it's not out of whack, because sometimes you can have problems with potassium and edema and that kind of thing. Number two, compression socks. Everybody should have them, whether you have swollen ankles or not. And if you're on a plane 6 hours, get them. Make sure they're the good ones, not this, but wear them. And number three, you should have a reflux test in your leg. What happens is when the blood goes, it's got to go back through the veins, back to the heart for replenishment. It's a long trip. Sometimes it loses its way and then reverts back. It goes back up your leg and it goes back because the valves are not working. And they do a thing, it's just a reflux test. And they do this kind of a sonogram and they check. It's painless. Get it done. He has that. Dementia? No, absolutely not. Dementia, Alzheimer's, different story altogether. No. I think sometimes no, I really don't. And if I thought so, Biden was off the chart. I think I told you this. I'll tell you this again. A friend of mine, Mrs. Ellen, and I have a friend in Washington. And he told me that you don't understand. We all know Biden's not here. Meaning somebody was running the show with the auto pen, which of course was never investigated by anybody. Remember, Washington is a Potemkin village. This is a movie set. It gives you the illusion that there's democracy. But remember, you must start off with the premise. Everything is a psyop. Everything is organized. Nothing is happenstance. Nothing. Now, that's a kind of a premise. It's like when you're a doctor, start with the premise that the person coming to see you is sick. There's something wrong. Turns out they might have Munchausen's. They might be hypochondriacal. Might be a lot of other things, but you can presume. Nothing happens today without a presumption. Go with the presumption that there's something, this is contrived, accelerated, accentuated, pushed, what have you. Nothing is real. Number two, Mockingbird Media. This started with Phil Graham from the Washington Post and others. We know, everybody knows. What used to be this last bastion of the mainstream media is now dead. Bezos is coming along. They're going to shutter the newsrooms. They're going to shut them down, close them up. They don't serve any purpose. This is the most important right now. There's a Sunday. We've been talking for, if you think about this, we have been on about an hour and a half, an hour and 25 minutes straight. You and me, no commercials, no nothing, just you and me talking, no a minute here. This would have been what, 6 TV shows? It would have been, no, this is it. You are immersing yourself in the subject. This is beyond news. You're immersing yourself in the subject. This is not just you reading about this subject. You are marinating, you're wallowing, you're swimming, you're absorbing, you're immersing. It's a full immersion, infused in the news. This is not allowed for in regular mainstream media. They can't do this. This is participatory, number one. We're part of a community. This is ceremonial, it's tribal, it's nativistic, atavistic, it is societal. This is like in the village, we're all meeting. We're seeing something that's going on. This is convivial. I'm watching something, you know it's real. You're talking to me, but you're also talking to others. You say this, but you think butter was real. Oh, Butler was real. You say this, but you think Butler was real. Oh, Butler was real. What are you saying? He wasn't shot? See, when you say Butler wasn't real, you've got to be specific. What do you mean? And thank you, by the way. Are you saying that Butler, does anybody think that there was not a rifle round fired? That there was not a sniper, that he wasn't hit, that he wasn't in the ear? Do you think so? Is that what you mean? If you think that was something else, you think that the fireman or whatever who was killed, you think that's a joke? That's it? I mean, do you think so? I mean, do you think, now remember, not that you're suspecting something. When you say Butler is real, now, could the sniper have been oh yes. Could he have been planted? Oh yes. Could he have been there? Yes. Absolutely. Could it have been allowed? Remember, in our business, we have MIHOP and LIHOP. MIHOP, LIHOP. Make it happen on purpose or let it happen on purpose. Do you think that he was allowed to? Oh, yeah. Do you think that he was allowed to insinuate himself into the area? And oh, yes, absolutely. But do I think it was a blank or something? No, absolutely not. Duchess says, I've lived next to a state trooper in Pennsylvania who was there. It was real. Oh, it was, no. I mean, it was a shot. Now, remember, we could say, well, it was. Now, if you want to say, could that have been fake? Yeah. But one of the things you must understand, you can't count on this too much, but there's a lot about how do I say this? There's a lot about having an aggressive media that's really beneficial because they'll go out of their way to try to find something out. If you can dispel that, because that was a moment of fight, it would be wonderful. Who is it? Vanity says, orchestrated, perhaps that's a better term. I would, thank you. I would absolutely probably go with that. Put it this way, orchestrated by somebody, at least by the shooter and others, to let something like that happen. Listen, remember something. This is the most important. Going back to, JFK is a great learning tool. JFK was important because it taught us something which is critical. This could not have happened. There was a lot of moving parts there. Somebody somewhere had to remove all of the snipers and shooters from the buildings. In order for this to happen, somebody to slow this car down and all this jazz, and not so much, but this could not have been done by Lee Harvey Oswald. So this is make it happen on purpose, lie hop, also let it happen on purpose. And also that was a second or third one because they planned it, I think Chicago, Tampa for sure. They wanted this, it was going to happen then. Absolutely. It was a different world then because the organized crime and the military worked hand in hand. Like that to an extent, no. But if I find something's going to happen, remember, if I find something's going to happen, and if I also say, I will get you this person, and I will make sure you understand something. This guy is going to be right here. You got it? Okay. So, again, I'm not saying this, but after he takes his shot, make sure you get rid of him. That's the rule. Lee Harvey Oswald, Jack Ruby, get rid of him. Paddock in Las Vegas, get rid of him. That's why the Tyler Robinson story fell apart, because remember, I think it was either Barron or Project Constitution or Sam. Anyway, somebody found this out. There were two versions, two narratives that Tyler Robinson was going to state. Well, one in particular, he was going to say, quote, "Goodbye, cruel world. I'm not going to be put in prison for the rest of my life. This isn't going to happen." Basically, laying the premise for, by cop, that SBC, well, I don't know if he didn't get the memo, because his actual message was, I'm going to turn myself in. My parents know a police officer. And the reason why he turned himself in wasn't because he was going to confess, was because he was afraid some cops would take him out. Oh, no, this was critical thinking. Critical stuff. Absolutely. Now, remember, I'm an expert on this, theoretically. I'm going to say, go ahead and try to figure this out. I can do something in front of the world. Let me ask you a question. Yes or no? Would cell phones have made a difference on September the 22nd, 1963? I mean, October. November, what am I saying? Do you think that JFK and the grassy knoll would have made any difference had we have had cell phones that day? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Let me ask you again. Do you believe, just push 1 for yes, 2 for no, that having today's technology, cell phones and online, would have changed anything about JFK? That they would have not done it, or the real shooter would have been found, or maybe badge man, probably Lucien Sarti, badge man, the Sardinian Corsican, shooter, maybe do you think it would have made any difference? Do you think they would have said absolutely? And the answer is no. Do it right in front of them. Do you believe me or your lying eyes? Sleight of hand works in front of you. Remember the year that came out? It was in 70. Was it 79? I don't know when it was, but it was a it was very, very important. There was a CIA memorandum that came out that said, after the problems occurred, after the incredulity, after the Warren Commission, the CIA said, we have a real problem. People don't believe us. What do we do? And that's when they weaponized the term conspiracy theory. Not invented the word. Word's been around. Weaponized it. And one of the things to do is they say, you got to tell people, one is, do you know how ridiculous it is for these many people to be involved in something of this nature? That's number one. Number two, Do you know that secrets cannot be kept? And do you know that the amount of people involved in, okay, I will take, and please, JFK is a perfect example. They used all of those routines. They also had an official finding, the Warren Commission, which is a waste of time, just like the 9/11 report. Zelikow wrote that. It was garbage. It's garbage. But let me tell you another one, too. This is my favorite. They said that one of the reasons why people have a hard time with JFK is that you can't believe that a person so great, is so grand, is so beautiful as of John Kennedy could have possibly been eliminated by somebody as insignificant as this troll, this mole, this maggot, this insignificant little carpet twat named Lee Harvey Oswald. That it's so impossible for you to believe that somebody could have just decided, who brought curtain rods to the Texas school book suppository, as somebody said. And I'm thinking that's a good one. So they're questioning not only your sanity, but your ability to accept reality. I've been through this. Listen to me. You keep thinking. You want to think it's whatever it is. Keep thinking. Don't ever let me catch you say or believe that the official narrative that is provided by mainstream media is the truth. If I find that out, I don't know you. I would much rather calm you down than calm you up. I don't want to try to rev you up by saying, no, you're missing the point. No, it's okay. No, I believe it. It's Tyler Robinson. He confessed. He didn't confess. Oh, no, he didn't. The people that you meet, your friends, your family, your neighbors, people you work with, they watch Fox News. That's all they know. That's all they know. That's all they know. And they're going to say, well, Jesse Waters. And that's the burden we have to bear. My friends, let me thank you. An hour and 37 minutes. We're going to meet again. Would you like to tonight? Let's take a time off, breathe up, do some research. We'll reconvene, reconnoiter at about 8 p.m. tonight. Let me thank you. You are the best. Now, let me tell you something. And I love the people. I love Candace. And I think Barron he's a great friend of mine. And Christine is phenomenal. And remember the great Sean Atwood. I've got a lot of friends, and I hope Coach Colin, I've been in communication with him. I'm going to bring a lot of people on, a lot of people. But we have the best. Our group, our gang, this thing of ours here, the best. You are the best. I'm not being gratuitous. I mean it. I mean it. You are like smart, and you're brave, and you challenge me, and you don't let me get away with stuff. I love it. And I give it right back. That's what makes us better than anybody. So I thank you for that. My friends, please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. She's got a great, great piece. She and I are going to do one together. You got to hear what she's doing regarding victims and families and how digital predation is changing the world. Please follow her at Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. It means a lot to me, and she appreciates it as well. And thank you for this. Please like this video. You know the routine. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams, new videos. Subscribe to the channel. And accept my thanks. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And isn't thinking fun? Isn't it wonderful? I love it. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. Happy, blessed Sunday to you. We will talk tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.